Hello and welcome. Today, we're journeying into the heart of West Virginia, to a place where history and horror are etched into the very stones, the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum. This isn't just a story about ghosts. It's the story of a dream that decayed into a nightmare, leaving behind echoes that refuse to fade. So, turn down the lights and let's explore one of the most haunted locations in the world, where it's said the patients never truly checked out. Before it was a nightmare, it was a dream. In the mid-19th century, a new, compassionate philosophy for treating mental illness was emerging. It was called the Kirkbride Plan, championed by Dr. Thomas Story Kirkbride. He believed that architecture itself could be a form of therapy. The Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, originally known as the Weston State Hospital, was designed to be the physical embodiment of this idea. Its massive, tiered structure with long, curved wings and countless windows was no accident. This design was meant to provide every patient with a room full of natural sunlight and fresh air, which were considered essential for healing troubled minds. Construction began in 1858, and it was a monumental undertaking, built with hand-cut stone by convict labor. It was intended to be a sanctuary, a place of peace and recovery. Its very foundation was laid with hope, built not to punish, but to save. It was supposed to be a self-sufficient community, a place where people could find refuge and a path back to sanity. But the noble ideals that shaped these stones would soon be ground into dust under the weight of human tragedy. The dream shattered with brutal speed. The asylum, designed to comfortably house 250 souls, saw its population swell uncontrollably. By the 1950s, over 2,400 patients were crammed within its walls. The sanctuary became a prison. The hallways, once meant for therapeutic strolls, were now lined with patients sleeping on the floor, shoulder to shoulder. Severe understaffing and drastic funding cuts turned the facility into a pit of filth, disease, and unimaginable violence. Therapeutic treatments, once administered with care, devolved into forms of torture. Hydrotherapy, for instance, meant being submerged in ice-cold water for hours. But the most infamous procedure was the ice pick lobotomy. This barbaric practice, which involved inserting a metal pick through the eye socket to sever connections in the brain's prefrontal cortex, turned vibrant, albeit troubled, human beings into docile, empty shells. Despair wasn't just an emotion here. It became a permanent resident, saturating the very air and planting the seeds for a haunting that would endure for centuries. Amidst the chaos and adult pain, there were the innocent victims, the children, and within the walls of the children's ward, one small spirit is more famous than any other. Her name is Lily. The story goes that Lily was a young patient here, though records are scarce. It's believed she tragically died of pneumonia within the hospital's cold walls. Unlike the more aggressive entities in the asylum, Lily's spirit is not considered frightening. Instead, she is described as lonely, a child's soul lost in time. Paranormal investigators who visit the ward frequently bring toys to communicate with her. They leave out music boxes, balls, and dolls, hoping for a sign, and often they get one. Investigators have recorded balls seemingly rolling on their own in response to questions. They've witnessed music boxes spring to life, playing a ghostly tune in an otherwise silent, empty room. But the most chilling evidence comes in the form of EVPs, or electronic voice phenomena. On audio recorders, investigators have captured faint, whispered phrases like "My name is Lily and I'm lonely." Her disembodied giggles and soft voice are some of the clearest and most heartbreaking pieces of paranormal evidence ever captured at Trans-Allegheny. But the layers of tragedy here go back even further than the asylum's opening, before it ever housed a single patient. This land was soaked in the blood of the American Civil War. When the war broke out, construction on the hospital was still underway. Its strategic location and imposing structure made it a valuable asset. The grounds were used as a military outpost for Union troops called Camp Tyler. As the war raged on, parts of the unfinished building were converted into a makeshift hospital, tending to the wounded from both sides of the conflict. The echoes of that brutal war have never left. Numerous visitors and staff have reported encounters with the ghosts of soldiers. They've seen full-bodied apparitions in blue and grey uniforms patrolling the grounds and halls, only to vanish into thin air. They've heard the disembodied groans of wounded men and smelled the phantom scent of gunpowder and antiseptic. These soldiers are the first ghosts of Trans-Allegheny, a solemn reminder that this ground has been consecrated by suffering for a very, very long time. If you're looking for the most volatile, aggressive energy in the asylum, you'll find it on Ward 1. This was the maximum security ward, housing the most dangerous male patients. The air here is heavy, thick with a palpable sense of anger and violence that still lingers. One of the most infamous spirits said to reside here is Big Jim. Jim was reportedly a giant of a man, and the story is that he was murdered in his room, brutally stabbed by other patients. His angry spirit is not at rest, but he's not alone. Another patient, named Dean, was also stabbed to death on this ward, and his spirit is said to be just as aggressive. Paranormal investigators who brave Ward 1 often leave with more than just stories. They report being forcefully shoved by unseen hands, feeling sudden, intense drops in temperature, and hearing furious, disembodied growls ordering them to get out. Some have even left with physical evidence, mysterious, painful scratches appearing on their skin, as if clawed by an invisible attacker. The violent energy is so potent, it seems capable of physically interacting with the living. Perhaps the most common and deeply unnerving phenomenon reported at Trans-Allegheny is the appearance of shadow people. These aren't the translucent, see-through apparitions you might imagine when you think of ghosts. Witnesses describe them as solid, men-shaped black masses, darker than the surrounding darkness. They are often seen at the ends of the long, decaying hallways, standing silently in doorways, or gliding with unnatural speed across a room before disappearing. They move incredibly fast and appear to possess an intelligence, often darting into the shadows or into a side room the moment they are noticed, as if actively avoiding direct confrontation. Modern ghost hunting equipment like night vision and thermal cameras, has captured footage of these anomalies. No one knows for sure what they are. Some theorize they are the spirits of former patients, while others believe they may be something else entirely, something inhuman. Whatever their origin, their presence is universally accompanied by a feeling of intense, primal dread. In the modern era, the asylum has transformed into a living paranormal laboratory, attracting thousands of investigators, psychics, and curious visitors each year. Countless hours of video and audio evidence have been captured within these walls. Skeptics, of course, have their explanations. They argue that the eerie sounds are just the wind howling through the long, drafty corridors, or the natural creaks and groans of an old, decaying building. But some of the evidence defies such simple dismissal. How do you explain a clear, direct, and intelligent vocal response to a specific question captured on an EVP in an empty room? How do you explain a locked, heavy door creaking open on its own, captured on video? Or a human-shaped figure appearing on a thermal camera in a room confirmed to be empty? The sheer volume and quality of the evidence gathered here make a compelling case. The proof that this place is truly, profoundly haunted is overwhelming for many who experience it. They say that powerful emotions and tragic events can be recorded into the environment itself, an idea known as the stone tape theory. If that theory holds any truth, then the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum isn't just a building. It's a library of human suffering, a vast archive of pain, fear, and sorrow. Every crumbling stone seems to whisper a story. Every long, dark hallway echoes with a silent scream. This is so much more than an abandoned hospital. It is a stone tomb, a monument to a failed dream, and the thousands of lives that were shattered within it, and the spirit inside, whether they are soldiers, patients, or lonely children, are still telling their stories to anyone brave enough to listen. Thank you for joining me on this chilling exploration. The stories of Trans-Allegheny are a haunting reminder of our past. If you found this journey as fascinating as I did, please hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the world's most mysterious places. Let me know in the comments if you've ever visited, or if you'd dare to spend a night within its walls. Stay curious, and see you next time.